Hello, Algebra 2 College. Here are the answers to the practice problems due today. Last class, we started solving quadratic equations by factoring, and applying the zero product property. So you'll see here, my quadratic equation is x squared plus 10x plus 24. I looked for the factor pairs of x squared and the factor pairs of 24 that were going to get me 10x. It turns out that 4 and 6 were the factor pairs of 24 that were going to do that. I then factored the quadratic equation into x plus 4 times x plus 6. And because we are solving an equation, I did make it equal to 0. Then I applied the zero product property by allowing each factor pair to equal 0, and then solving for x by using inverse operations. So the two solutions are x equals -4 or x equals -6. Please correct this problem in your yellow booklet. In practice problem number 2, I noticed that I had an a value of -1. Remember, anytime your a value is a negative number, you're automatically going to have a GCF. In this problem, it turns out it's only just -1. So I factored -1 from all of the terms and got this new quadratic x squared minus 2x minus 24. I'm now going to factor it some more because it's quadratic. So I'm looking for the factor pairs of -24 that add up to -2. It turns out when you use the factor pairs of x positive 4 and -6, you'll be able to get -2x. I then applied the zero product property to all three factors, the greatest common factor, x plus 4, and x minus 6. However, allowing the greatest common factor of -1 to equal 0 didn't make sense. -1 is not equal to 0, so that means it does not affect our solutions. In the other two factors, I solved for x by using inverse operations and got the two solutions -4 and +6. In practice problem number 3, I noticed there was a greatest common factor of 6. I factored the greatest common factor of 6 out from all of the terms, and I got this new quadratic x squared minus 1x minus 2. I was then looking for the factor pairs of -2 that would give me a b value of -1. It turns out when you have 1 and -2, that is true. I took all of my factors and set them equal to 0, so we use the zero product property. The first factor, the greatest common factor, 6, is not allowed to equal 0, so that means it does not affect our solutions. The second factor, x plus 1, yields a solution of -1, and the third factor, x minus 2, yields a solution of +2. Okay, we are now going to go through the remainder of the examples in your yellow booklet, so please turn the page. I just want to remind you that we're using the zero product property to solve, and that says that if you have the statement a times b equals 0, then either a could equal 0 or b could equal 0. So either of our factors could be equal to 0. Okay, here is the second set of examples that we're going to work on today. Example 4 in the yellow booklet is 9x squared minus 27x. We are factoring, so the first thing we always want to do is check for a greatest common factor. And since my a value is 9, I always try and see if that value goes into all the terms. And 9 does evenly go into both 9 and -27. So my greatest common factor is going to be 9. Now you'll also notice that both of the terms in this quadratic equation have a variable, and it's the same variable. So our greatest common factor is actually 9x. So let's go ahead and factor 9x from both of the terms. We put our greatest common factor in front of a set of parentheses, and then the answer to the division goes inside the parentheses. So 9 divided by 9 will be 1, and x squared divided by x is x. -27 divided by 9 is -3, and x divided by x cancels out. So now that we've divided the greatest common factor out, we look at what's inside the parentheses and ask ourselves, is there more work to do because we still have a quadratic? And we don't actually have a quadratic anymore. We have a linear. X minus 3 is linear, not quadratic. So I can go ahead and start applying the zero product property to all of the factors. The first factor is the greatest common factor, so I allow that to equal 0. My second factor is x minus 3. I also allow that to equal 0. Now, up until now, the greatest common factor has just been a number, and when we set it equal to 0, it didn't make sense. But in this problem, the greatest common factor isn't just a number, it's a number and a variable. So that means we can solve. So I'm going to divide by 9, and I will get x equals 0, because 0 divided by 9 is 0. In the second factor, I'm going to add 3 to solve for x, so I get x equals 3. So I have two solutions, 0 or 3. And as I said last class, we should always be getting two solutions, because if you get one solution, that's a special type of problem that we have not started yet. Okay, example 5. First thing we're going to do is check for a greatest common factor. So I noticed that there are 3 terms. Not all 3 of them have a variable, so that means we're not going to have a variable in our greatest common factor. Yeah, for this one. 7 does not go into 27, and 7 does not go into 40, so 7 is not the greatest common factor. And the only other factor of 7 is 1, and I told you if 1 is the term that goes into all of the terms in the expression, then there is no greatest common factor. So we don't have a greatest common factor here. We don't use a greatest common factor of 1, because 1 goes into every number. So now we're going to just go ahead and do regular factoring. So I'm looking for factor pairs of 7x squared and 40 that will somehow get me to negative 27. 7x squared is x times 7x, and 40 could be 1 times 40, it could be 2 times 20, it could be 4 times 10, it could be 5 times 8. So now I'm going to go ahead and factor that and see if I can get to negative 27. Okay, I'm going to put a 7x here. I'm going to put an x here because that multiplies to 7x squared. And because my c value is negative, I know that I'm going to have a positive and a negative in my expression. One's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. Since the 27 is also negative, I'm thinking that the number I'm going to multiply by the 7 is going to be the negative. So I'm guessing that I'm putting a negative here. I might have to go back and change it. So my positive is going to go here. And I am thinking, I'm looking at my factors. If I multiply 7 by 4, that'll get me 28. But then 10 will either get me to 38 or 18. That's not 27. So let's look at 5 and 8. 7 times 8 is 56. That's too big, so I don't want to multiply the 7 by that. 7 times 5 is 35. Negative 35 plus 8. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to put a 5 here and an 8 here. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and verify. 7x times negative 5 is negative 35x. And 8 times x is 8x. Negative 35 plus 8 equals negative 27x. Whew, all right. We got it right. We factored correctly. Okay, because our check works out. I'm now going to go ahead and apply the zero product property to both of our factors. So I'm taking the first factor, setting it equal to 0, and I'm going to take the second factor and set it equal to 0. I'm going to subtract 8 here. I'm going to divide by 7. And I'm actually going to write the answer as a fraction. I don't want to see any decimal answers. I only want to see fraction answers. And your calculator can help you reduce that. If you don't remember, it's math, enter, enter. And that will help you reduce. So x equals negative 8/7 is one of my solutions. The other solution comes over here from the second equation, x minus 5 equals 0. I'm going to add 5 to both sides, and that will give me x equals 5. So my two solutions, remember we're going to be finding two solutions each time today, is negative 8 over 7 and positive 5. Okay, last example, example number 6. 20x squared plus 172x plus 96 is equal to 0. Okay, I'm thinking there's going to be a greatest common factor because all of these numbers are pretty large. I can tell that 20 doesn't go into all three terms, so I'm going to need a number smaller than 20. I know 2 will definitely go into all three because they're all even numbers, but I think there might be a bigger one. So let's see, 4 goes into 20. Does 4 go into 172? I take my calculator and I do 172 divided by 4, and that equals 43. Okay, so that means 4 goes into 172 as well. And then I take 96 and I divide it by 4. And that also equals a whole number, equals 24. So that means 4 goes into all three terms. So my greatest common factor is 4. So I'm going to divide everything by 4. This time I'm going to write my answer over here. I want to make a little more space. As you saw with example 5, I almost ran out. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put the answer to the division. 20x squared divided by 4 is 5x squared. 172x divided by 4, we just said was 43. And 96 divided by 4 is 24. Okay, now I look inside my parentheses and see if I still have a quadratic. Yes, I do. 5x squared means it's still quadratic. So I'm going to look for the factor pairs of 5x squared. That would be x and 5x. And I'm going to look for the factor pairs of 24. Oh, there's a few. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. Okay, so now I'm going to, my check number is 43. So I'm going to use the factor pairs of 5 and 24 to somehow get to 43. I know I have to have 5x and x. Oh, thinking back to elementary school when I was first learning multiplication, I remember that 5 times 8 is equal to 40. 40 is really close to 43, and in fact, there's a 3 over here. So I want to multiply the 5 by the 8, and then I'm going to add 3. So let's just go ahead and verify. 5x times 8 is 40x, and 3 times x is 3x. 40x and 3x is 43x. Okay, now we can go ahead and solve this equation. So we have 4 times 5x plus 3 times x plus 8 equals 0. We're going to apply the zero product property to all three factors. So 4 could equal 0, 5x plus 3 could equal 0, and x plus 8 could equal 0. Looking at that first equation, 4 equals 0, that's actually not true. So that means 4 doesn't affect our solutions. Looking at the second equation, 5x plus 3 is equal to 0, we can solve that. I'm going to start by subtracting 3 from each side. So I get 5x equals negative 3. I'm then going to divide by 5. And 5 doesn't go into negative 3 evenly, so I am going to leave my answer as the fraction negative 3/5. In my my third equation, x plus 8 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 8 from each side, and we'll get that x equals negative 8. Okay, so x equals negative 3/5 or x equals negative 8 are our two solutions for the equation 20x squared plus 172x plus 96 equals 0. Okay, at this portion of the video, we have now finished going over the last 3 examples in your yellow booklet. Please go ahead and turn to the next page, and you are going to solve the next 3 practice problems and then turn in your booklet. And the substitute will give you another practice sheet to work on. Finally, there will be an exit slip due at the end of class.